Welcome to the Community Hotline for the community, by the community. I'm Bob Thang, your host today. And today we have the wonderful Aimee. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay, hi, I'm Amy. I'm a mission driven lawyer. I call myself the gentleman whisperer because I want to influence people to realize their true potentials and find love in themselves so that they can love the people around them and have a more beautiful and meaningful life. So, just me living my simple mission in my time here.
I love it. I love it. Tell us, let's get right into the hard questions. What are three defining moments in your life and how do they impact you?
Hmm. Three defining moments. I would say the first one probably was when I got my law degree. I went to the UK to study and I went to the University of Leeds. And basically, I wasn't exactly the smartest one in the family. And I wasn't really the studious type. Everybody would be like, "What? Really? You don't like to study?" But actually, no, I wasn't really the studying type. I was like, I meant to do this. I meant to study law, so I did my law. But I didn't really study that much throughout my time in the UK. I was traveling a lot, and to the extent I think my parents felt that I wouldn't make it through the year. They didn't buy their plane ticket to visit me for my graduation. So, but what happened was I managed to score like one of the top in my batch of students from Malaysia to the UK. So I managed to score like one of the top in the class. And that's like one of my proudest moment in my life when I got my cert, my graduation day, and like yes, I did it. It's like one of my proudest moments that I did the impossible. Is that I showed them that yeah, I'm not the smartest child you have among your children, but I went through this law school process, which everybody says is really difficult, and I did very well. So that's one of the proudest moments in my life. And when I feel down, I want to feel proud. I just see myself holding the scroll on stage. Amy, you can do this. Don't care whatever people say about you. You've got this. So that's probably number one. Uh,
Education.
yeah, not exactly the one that went through the conventional education very well. I just didn't like studying, spending my hours after school, tuition after tuition, and just for grades. I felt that was not me. I felt that to learn is a different way. There's a way to life. There's more to it than just education. First, I really encourage my own kids now. Now I have four kids to basically learn things that they enjoy learning about and develop your interest from there. Because not everybody needs to be good in math, science, or other subjects to succeed in their life. You can be good in art. Like my daughter's really interested in drawing and arts and painting. So like I encourage her to do that. It's not so much about academic qualification. That's me as a mom with my kids. I'm not the one that's sitting next to them with a cane and you must study, study, study. That's just not me. Do what you enjoy and develop your interest. If you learn piano halfway and you don't like it, fine. Find something else that you're interested in. It's not me dictating who they should grow up to become, but more so guiding them to give them opportunities to learn other things so they can experience life by themselves, not by me determining their future. So then that brings into my second most defining moment is when I had my firstborn, my eldest daughter. That's like the one of the most magical moments in my life. People tell you like horror stories about giving birth to go through the whole process. And for me, I was a bit traumatized at first because I didn't go through a very good pregnancy. I gained a lot of weight. In my first pregnancy, I gained 30 kilos because I believe this philosophy that, oh, you're eating for two. So then I was like eating everything, like every day was a buffet for me, like blah, 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 just eating it because I basically had the license to do so because everybody say you're pregnant, you're eating for two. But I learned it the hard way. Actually, learning for eating for two doesn't mean that you get to eat everything and anything you want. Actually, you have to eat healthily to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and also the baby that's growing inside. So I learned it the hard way. So I went to a complicated pregnancy. I was severely overweight, and at 37 weeks, I was admitted in the hospital. I had to go in for an inducement for my baby to come out. Like, oh my God, I think I messed up this time. I'm so worried I'll never make it through because there's so much traumatizing stories about childbirth. I'm like, what if I don't make it? What if I die? All those crazy things kept coming into my mind. And when it was time for my baby to come out, I prayed, of course, I prayed, and that gave me a lot of comfort. And also, the sister in the hospital, she knew that I was a bit worried, and she prayed together with me. And so I went through the whole process very calmly. You would probably never hear anybody tell you this, but I actually fell asleep in the delivery room while waiting because I was so relaxed. I was so relaxed. I fell asleep while waiting for the contraction because it's induced birth, so they actually put uh, chemicals in your body to stimulate the process.
Mm.
So then I fell asleep in the labor room, and then uh, after a while, I suddenly felt that I needed to go to the toilet. And I told the nurse, I think I need your help to get off this bed. I need to use the toilet. And they checked and said, oh no, ma'am, your baby's coming. I was like, oh wow, seriously, it feels like that. You know, it's like the electro morning to go to the toilet. And then I can, it was so amazing. It's like just four pushes and my baby was up in just less than 15 minutes. So I'm like, all the stories about people going through contraction for 21 hours and things like that. I fell asleep. I was like, wow, I was amazed that I went through that process. So I realized that it's a lot to do with what we think at that point in time. Like I knew that I was being comforted and I know that I was safe because I trust the process and I really surrendered myself to God, to the faith, to know that I can get through this. And Lord and behold, the baby was out in 4 pushes. So I'm like, so that was another second defining moment. And the most beautiful part of it is when I saw my baby girl for the first time. And it's like whatever I went through, it just disappeared. When people say you don't remember the pain, it's true. Literally, when I saw her, and I still remember to this day, she had like tiny yellow spots on her nose. Like, why is my baby having yellow spots on her nose? But that's just like one of the most touching moments that I brought a life into the world. I went through the process safely. And somehow, when I tell these stories to women that are feeling a bit traumatized about going through the birthing process, it lights them up. They're like, oh, okay, they can do it so easily. It wouldn't be that bad for me. So it's definitely a life-defining moment for me. Yeah. Then third one, also a very what you call strong in me. Basically, also another. So the first story I told you was a nice birth story, but when I had my last baby, which was just recently about 3.5 years ago, it wasn't that easy. It wasn't that beautiful of a process. So after going through the whole 4 pregnancies and all, my last one had to impact me the most. So what happened was I had 3 cesareans. So my second, third, and my fourth were all by cesarean birth. And when I had my fourth one, the doctor that did my cesarean she was having a bad mood. She was having a bad day, and she was basically doing operation on me and scolding the people around in the room. And I felt her negative energy, and there was like a push here and there, and a knock here and there, and I felt her energy channel into me. So after the whole process, during recovery in Chinese, here we have this confinement period where you're supposed to stay in. You can't come out of the house for 30 days for your body to recuperate. So come day 11, as I started to feel uh, very, very strong discomfort in me. And it was like somebody stabbing my abdomen the past few days. And eventually it started to turn black. And I felt like this is not a normal cesarean recovery where your wound turns black. And so the night before, I put a tissue there to just basically absorb whatever sweat. Because you sweat a lot when you're in confinement because you're not supposed to have the temperature too high in the room to avoid getting wind and stuff, you know. So I was thinking like, oh, maybe it's painful, it's sweating, it's turning red because I'm sweating too much at night. Then when I woke up, I saw like spottings of blood on the tissue. So I saw like, okay, this is not right. I need to go see a doctor to get this checked out. So I called my mom, and my mom was like, oh, okay, that doesn't sound right at all. So she rushed me to the nearest hospital. So without any appointment, we're waiting and waiting. The doctor was not free because she had a list of appointments during a Sunday. I just like, okay, 2 hours still there, but I needed to use the washroom. So then me not being able to walk, my mom pushed me in the wheelchair to the toilet, and I went in and slowly, and I released whatever I had to release, and I felt like, whoa, that's like the best release ever. I don't feel the stab in my abdomen anymore. Then I looked down, the bathroom floor was actually covered in blood, and I'm like, my goodness, and natural instinct, no matter how old you are, when you're in trouble, you'll be like, Mom! I was calling my mom from inside the toilet, and she got very worried because I didn't lock the door just in case anything happened to me. In hospitals, to be safe, no pervs coming in while you're in the toilet. So then my mom came and she was like, oh my god, blood all over the floor. She called the nurse and everybody, and they quickly took me to the mini operation room, and they checked, and so somehow my wound ruptured. You know, it ruptured, and they had to basically cut me open again to the layer that was bleeding internally. So it was like the doctor explained to me, it was like a boil inside my body. The wound didn't heal properly. And I tell you, the places that bled was where I felt the knot. And an angry doctor was doing my surgery. So I was like, wow, that her negative energy channeled into me and this happened. But I'm very, very thankful that it happened while I was in the hospital. Because if in a normal situation, if this happened, imagine you're in your house and you lose so much blood and the ambulance doesn't arrive on time, I might not be alive, you know. So there I was bedridden, of course, for 4 days. I couldn't move because they had to put all the tubes in me to drain the blood out. I had to have a tube for my urine and things like that. It's basically to let my body clean up. And I remember at the time I was really scared. I was basically fighting for my life. I was like, oh my god, I cannot not get over this. I must come back from this. Then I really prayed a lot. I was like begging, you know, on the bed but on my knees. You know, it's in my head. I'm on my knees. I'm like telling the God, please, 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 please let me get through this. I cannot not be there for my kids. My baby just born. I have 3 more at home. I need to be there. I need to do so many more things. And going through the whole process where you're like really helpless and so lost, I had a determination and fire burn up inside of me. And you say whatever you want to say when you're there. You're in there for 4 days. Right? So I started making like deals with God, you know, like God, please let me get through this. I promise you that when I when I get through this alive, I will live my life and serve and be such a nice person and really do what I can to make this life a meaningful one. Please don't let me go. Please give me a chance. You know, I was basically saying all this kind of begging, whatever negotiation. And it was when it was time to close me up again, like going through the whole operation, going through the whole anesthesia. The whole process is very painful. Nobody likes to go on the table to be cut and to be sewn and stuff like that. But that process, yes, although it wasn't a Christian doctor, she was a Muslim woman doctor, and she asked me, "Do I have a permission to read the Quran for you before we go through this operation?" And I'm like, "Anything, anything, any God will do. I just want to live.
Anything to help.
Anything, anything. Just let me get through this." And so she did, and again, I felt comforted, and then she was like there like an angel to guide me through this whole process. She was comforting me, and she even gave me a hug before she did it, and it really gave me a lot of comfort and assurance, that there's so much more to life than just chasing for a lot of for me in the past it was something that was I needed, but now I realize there are so much more meaning to life and so many more things to experience in life. So going through that and surviving the whole process for a year, I was a bit drowsy because I lost a lot of blood. They were giving me medication to fill up my blood count. But after going through that, I vowed that I would live a more meaningful life. So I do more for people now, and through that process, I discovered NLP. When I was willing to receive, and they say that when you're ready, the law of attraction will bring you to things and lessons and teachers and angels in your life. Will come to you. When you're not ready, you will not even know it's there because you're not ready to receive. And that's when I opened up myself and I started removing my layers of my onion skin. I always had this. I still remember when I did my NLP. Is like I went in going in with image issues, thinking that I was not a very pretty person. My sisters were models, and I was like ordinary, normal Amy. And going through that whole NLP thing and removing a lot of limiting beliefs and taking off layers and layers of my onions, I actually came out feeling like, wow, man, I am actually quite a capable woman. I'm not Miss Universe, now no Mrs. Universe anyway, but I have things that I should be proud of and I should appreciate about myself.
I
So
actually have a question about
yeah,
the NLP. So
yeah,
I work with a lot of kids, and they go through, a lot of like self-esteem, anxiety, like bullying, like they don't fit in. Is how would you? Is there like an NLP technique to help kids get over anxiety and like self-esteem or
mm,
feeling they don't fit
yeah,
in?
mm. So
Can you?
the thing with NLP is like neuro linguistic programming. Sometimes just the words that we speak, we're trained in a way to talk to people to change their mindset, even by talking itself. They will shift. But there are certain ways because what happens when they're young, and a lot of time like myself and other adults out there, what happens when we're young, it carries on until adulthood. And sometimes we will feel that it's it's holding us back from doing things. I used to think that I was too fat to even exercise. I was like, oh, I know I can't exercise. I'm too fat. Those kind of beliefs that we we develop over the years that stops us from doing things. So yes, NLP is good in the sense that there are so many tools and tips that we are exposed to, and sometimes it's just like spending a good few hours with the children speaking to them through our words or even doing one-on-one exercises to change their beliefs. Because NLP is about changing mindsets, it's about changing beliefs. And from then, they come out empowered and they know that they are worth more than that. And basically, they learn to be leaders of their own life
Can
through
you give
that
us
exercise. Pardon?
Can you give us one exercise for the kids?
Mm, oh, for me, I think that off my head now, like if they are being bullied, they feel belittled, they feel that they're not good enough to stand up for themselves. I think I shared with you before, my favorite exercise of all time is always the ring of power because I'm actually a kid inside of me, you know. So when I went through this exercise, and it's like a guided exercise where we bring the participants. This can be done in a group into an imaginary state because NLP is all about using your imagination, and we guide them through it. We instill all this positive stacking into them, and then when we have stacked all of these positive uh, situations into their beliefs and into their minds, we finally step into this ring of power. You know, the ring of power for me, instantly I think of Sonic. You know, Sonic the Hedgehog when he wants to go to one universe together, he just throw his ring and then he's there. So my metaphor for that exercise that when I'm feeling stuck or fearful or lost, I just bring out my ring of power, put it in, and I step in, and then I'll feel the rush of energy coming through me. So that's by far my most favorite exercise to do with a group of kids, and they will because everyone's journey is different. But whatever they step inside and what they plan in, the anchoring exercise into them, and then they step into this ring. It's like this ring is full of all these positive powers. You can be fearless. You can be powerful. You can be strong. You can be beautiful. You can be anything you want to be. Whatever you step inside your ring of power, and you just step in, and I can tell you, you just feel the energy rushing through, and you're like, whoa, come on, bullies.
I love that. I love it.
You know.
Let's let's move on to one of the topics, which is love. I think that's a great topic. Tell us, uh, what is love?
For me, because everyone defines love differently, for me, love is actually the one thing that drives us. And I think Anthony Robbins said it the best. He said, love is actually the oxygen of the soul. Without love, a person can feel empty, their life has no purpose, and basically they're dead inside. You know? So we all need love. One of my missions is actually to bring people, my program, I call it way back into love, to actually get people back into loving themselves. Because it all starts from us. You know, then from us, once we have already accepted and loved ourselves, then we can extend that love to care for other people around us. And then from there, we can care for a larger group of the community. And then all around the world, you spread love through yourself. If you're a bitter and hard person and you always just give money because people tell you to donate, you have no meaning to do that kind of philanthropy work because it doesn't mean anything if you have no love in it. You're empty. So for me, love is basically the oxygen for the soul, and that is so true. And I quote it from Anthony Robbins by making it simplified in such a way that it's so beautiful for us to understand.
I love that.
That,
Who was
yeah.
your first love?
I only have one love and only love, and that's my husband. So I met him when we were in school. Since I was about, I think I saw him the first time when I was 13, but I only got to know him when I was about 14. So we were classmates. So we were in
Love.
the same class since like the second year of secondary until we graduated. So
Mm,
we were classmates, but at that time I didn't love him yet because it was that boy in class that always found ways to do things to annoy me. You know, it's like cutting things in from the newspaper, basically giving me tips on how to live healthily and things like that. For me, I felt offended at that time because it's like, hey, you're making fun of me. You're saying I'm fat. I was being sensitive. But um, life has this very interesting way of putting people together. And when we finished secondary school, we fell in love. And we're married now for 12 years already and have 4 kids together. So it's been a blessing to be able to grow grow up. I don't say old, because old is a very sensitive word now. Grow together with someone that's basically known you most of your life. It's very comforting, and it's like warm fuzzy feelings for me to know that I have a man like my husband in my life to basically go through my thick and skin. We've been through hardship together. When you just finish school, you don't really have much, but we go through it together and grow together.
I love that.
So yeah, I only have one and only one love.
Okay. What about as a mother, um,
Mm-hmm.
for sometimes I talk to kids and they have trouble communicating with their parents, like, oh, my mom doesn't understand me, or I can't talk to my dad. You have any tips, or what was your relationship with your parents like? Or how do kids build that communication with their parents if they're more the traditional side?
Mm. So my mom is actually British. So I grew up in a culture that although I'm in Malaysia, it's an Asian parenting but European mom kind of environment. So I basically had a taste of both worlds. Asian parents can be like everything I say you do, no exceptions. But whereas the Western style of parenting is that you get to express yourself more, you show love, you can hug your parents, you don't feel afraid to even go to your parents if something is upsetting you. You can talk to them openly. And so I grew up in that kind of environment. My mom constantly reminded me again and again that she is my best friend. I can tell her everything, I can trust her. And basically, I grew up in that environment, and I nurture that to my kids as well. So my kids, naturally, I hug them a lot. I'm like that. Then I sleep with them, I hug them, I snuggle with them, I talk to them, and it's a bond that I really appreciate. Then they will say that there's no love greater than a mother's love. I'm not saying this that father's love is not that great, but for me, because I'm a mom, no prejudice to all the dads, but for a mom, the love for the child is so intense, it's so pure that I would do anything for them. I negotiated life with God for them, just so I can be there. So there's nothing I wouldn't do for my kids. So being open, I feel that open communication, a lot of times misunderstanding happens because there's a lack of communication. And you think that your parents don't want to know about it, but actually they do. They love you, they care about you. I went through teenage life rebellious with parents and stuff like that. And then now becoming a mom, I know that actually what my parents did to me in the past was out of love. And I appreciate it more, and I love my parents even more because now I know that what was in their mind. And because there's so many bad people out there, you know. So yeah, just basically be open. Do not um set yourself a limitation to say that you cannot talk to your parents. Sometimes they just want to, but they don't know how. They lost the touch, or they themselves don't know whether you will be interested to hear back from them. So just keep trying and trying, and be open. Be open with them,
Love
and
that.
show your affection. Show your affection.
Show your affection. Great.
Don't be
Let's
don't be afraid of it.
let's go to our last topic, which is money. Tell us,
Okay.
what is money?
Oh, we need money in our life. So just to make this story go with the so for me, I used to have a limiting belief over money. You know how we were brought up to believe that money is the root of all evil. I think everybody heard of that before. And when people like we offer services, and then like for me as a lawyer, talking now, my profession is a lawyer. So when people I offer my service as a lawyer, and then I will feel like, oh, I shouldn't be charging them so much because it's actually uh, not that complicated. But for me, it's not that complicated because I've done it so many times. But for them, it's something that they couldn't do. That's why they came to me. But at that time, I felt that I shouldn't charge so much money because I didn't want to seem greedy. I didn't want to seem that I wanted money for other things. Um, I wanted money to buy things for myself and I go on holidays have a house, comfortable house for my family. So I used to believe that money was bad. But after going through my NLP journey and basically the different features that came into my life, I now realize that not everybody can attract the ability to bring money into their life. And the fact that I was given this opportunity to learn by all these methods and through all these teachers, and then bring that knowledge out and share with other people and receive the money, I can then use this to help out the others that are not so fortunate. So then for me, money then from the root of all evil turned to the source of bringing hope to the world. Then like you see like Tony Robbins, he does like fundraising to feed America and how many homeless people. If he didn't do what he was doing, if he didn't have his passion for people, he wouldn't be able to bring in all this money to help all these people that were helpless in the first place. So that's why I now see money as something powerful, and when you're chosen and you're granted the opportunity to have it and you're blessed with it, that is when you are able to serve and help other people more. But at the same time, it also means I get to take care of myself and my family better. Because if somebody tells you they don't like money, it's probably a lie. You know, we all need money. Because yeah, money is something which we need to buy food. So if I didn't have money, I couldn't buy the healthy food for my family to eat, and they will constantly be sick and they don't have a healthy lifestyle. So it is actually something more positive to have in our life. If we see in that perspective, that money is something that makes the world go round. It does. So it makes the world go round, and you save people, you help people, and now I see it as a blessing. It's definitely a blessing to be able to receive money and to give back to others.
I love that. All right, and then just to kind of wrap it up, what are two pieces of life advice you have for the youth out there?
Hmm. I think one would be your past does not determine your future unless you choose to live there, because our home is where we want it to be. So that is very meaningful for me, because if we all keep thinking that in the past, if I kept believing that I was not the smartest one, I couldn't really study, and I was probably not going to be very successful in my studies, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be owning my own legal firm. I wouldn't be out there reaching out to people and doing all these things that I enjoy doing, connecting with others. I wouldn't be doing that if I believed that I was the ugly duckling, that I was not the smartest one, all these things. So your past is basically not your future. You have to overcome that belief. That's my first one. My second one would be another thing about life journey. Sometimes the situation, the hardship that we're going through right now, it might seem like a challenge for us. It might not be what we want, but it is 10 years down the line, thinking back, it is a process that you had to go through to become the person that you would be in the future. So just don't give up. Keep on fighting for what your dreams are, and don't give up. And what you go through now will bring you to a very beautiful destination in the end. So these are my basically my two favorite messages that I'm sharing with you.
Love that. I love that. All right, Amy. Tell us where can people find you? Do you have a website, Instagram?
Okay. Currently, I'm still exploring the social media platform. So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You can look for me, Gentle Mind Whisperer. That's my name that I use. Or you can find me with my personal name, Aimee, Aimee, Chen Aimee, my Chinese name. Which I in the middle, so I was born to love, you know.
Love it. Love
So
that.
yeah, Aimee Chen Aimee, Gentle Mind Whisperer. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, guys, that about wraps it up for us. Before I forget, if you are going through personal issues and you do need someone to talk to, feel free to text home to 741 741. It is a national hotline in the US for suicide prevention. Other than that, hope you guys are doing well, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.